I have centre-left political views. I support universal healthcare, reduced university tuition, and a generally progressive economy. I believe in a social market economy, i.e., welfare capitalism, and I support universal basic income because I think it could reduce poverty. So, to be clear, I'm not anti welfare, anti NHS, or anti working class. Economically, I lean moderately left. Despite this, I found that throughout my life, people on the left are far more arrogant, intolerant, and insufferable than people who lean right. I live in London and went to very left leaning schools, so this isn't just based on online stereotypes, it's based on experience. A lot of left wing people behave like ideological extremists. If you disagree with them, they take it personally. They'll stop being your friend over the wrong opinion, and they treat their views like moral truth rather than something open to debate. They constantly take the moral high ground, and there's a lot of what I would call toxic empathy, where sounding compassionate matters more than actually being reasonable or honest. Even though I don't consider myself right wing, I do agree with conservatives on some issues, particularly around woke ideology, identity politics, and feminism. Because of that, I get labelled right leaning, which really irritates me. I have never voted for a right wing UK party. I've always voted Labour and occasionally the Green Party. Lately, though, I've become more aligned with the Social Democratic Party because they represent people who lean left economically but are completely fed up with modern woke politics. It is very difficult to have liberal views while rejecting woke ideology. I find it much easier to talk to centrists or conservatives. And when I say right wing, I mean normal conservatives, not extremists. Supporting Trump, for example, doesn't make someone far right. I know plenty of decent Americans who support Trump, and they are nothing like the stereotypes pushed on the left. By the way, I personally would have voted for Bernie Sanders, and I don't consider myself a Trump fan, but I also don't consider him the worst person in the world either. My view towards him has always been very, very neutral. These themes are actually something I explore in my novel Tic-Tac-Toe, which depicts a dystopian society where men are second-class citizens. You can check out the trailer in the cards or in the description below. One thing that really bothers me is the double standard around free speech. The extreme right is heavily suppressed, often rightly, but the extreme left is allowed to say almost anything. Leftists often argue that free speech should be limited because certain ideas cause harm. Yet ideologies like feminism, radical gender theory, and Islamic extremism clearly cause harm too, but criticism of them is treated as unacceptable. Online, it's even worse. I spend a lot of time on Reddit, and it's full of aggressive, progressive politics and openly anti-male rhetoric. That's why I help moderate a pro-female, non-feminist space, because supporting women shouldn't require buying into ideology. This is the subreddit Women's Advocates. Check it out in the description below. To be clear, I do know decent left-wing people. Not all leftists are intolerant, just like not all religious people are closed-minded. But in my experience, right-leaning people are more often open to disagreement and are better at having real conversations. At this point, I honestly feel more comfortable talking to someone who votes Reform rather than someone who votes Labour. I wish the left cared more about serious issues like mental health, the NHS, housing, and unemployment instead of obsessing over pronouns and virtue signaling. Historically, the left represented the working class. Now it's often dominated by affluent, white, middle-class activists who are some of the most narrow-minded people I've ever met. Ironically, these are usually the same people who claim to be the most tolerant. What is your experience with people on the left? Let me know below. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more content.